What if the video you are watching right now isn't real in the way you think it is? What if everything you see, hear, and even remember could be twisted or crafted by forces you can't detect? Forces that blend your reality with invention until you're no longer sure where truth begins or ends. Imagine a friend sends you a clip of your own face, saying outrageous things you never said. You laugh until you realize it looks shockingly authentic. Your exact voice, your subtle facial twitches, down to every blink. Then you discover that this footage was built by an AI, an algorithm that studied hours of your online presence, your photos, your videos, your speaking mannerisms, and with those fragments, it conjured a version of you that never existed. This is no longer science fiction. It's part of a rising wave of deepfake technology that can churn out illusions so seamless you might disbelieve your own eyes. Somewhere in a data center, AI is forging images from scratch, voices that mirror our own inflections, writing text that resonates with our personal style, and these illusions seep into our lives, quietly, innocently at first. A realistic chat avatar, a fun face swap filter on social media, then, bit by bit, they escalate, weaving entire false narratives that can pass as evidence. The same technology that might help fight diseases or create enthralling art can also blur our perception of what happened and who we can trust. Let's take a step back. Over millennia, humans have anchored their sense of reality in tangible experiences. If you heard someone's voice, if you saw them in person or in a recording, you believed it truly was them. But AI is dismantling that anchor. It's recoding how we interpret evidence. No longer can we say with certainty, "I saw the video, so it must be real." The same statement applies to audio. If an AI can perfectly replicate your mother's voice, who's to say any phone call is genuine? All of this begs one haunting question. If an advanced intelligence can fabricate entire slices of reality, how do we know our own memories are safe? Perhaps it can craft a photo from your past, a childhood birthday, a family gathering that never actually took place. Or worse, it manipulates news footage, replays events that deviate from how they truly unfolded. A subtle tweak here, an added face there. People might watch and accept the revision as fact. Over time, collective memory morphs under the weight of untraceable illusions. This is the frightening potential of AI-driven misinformation, shifting the bedrock of history. You might think, well, I'm careful. I verify sources. I do my research. But imagine an AI-curated feed that knows exactly which emotional triggers keep you scrolling, or which biases you cling to. So, it drip feeds you content tailored to your predispositions, weaving illusions that reinforce your viewpoint. The more you see it, the more it cements it in your mind. You become certain in the face of manipulated data. That's the subtlety of modern reality manipulation. It doesn't typically come as overt censorship or blatant lies. It arrives as curated illusions. So, we reach the existential realm. If everything can be faked or distorted, how do we define real anymore? Possibly, we will build robust verification systems, cryptographic watermarks, digital signatures, and an arms race to maintain trust. But in this race, illusions get stronger as well, because AI learns from each attempt to contain it. We might find ourselves in a post-truth labyrinth, where verifying authenticity consumes more effort than we can afford. And even then, we can't always be sure. Take a moment to let that sink in. A world where nothing you see or hear is guaranteed to be genuine, where entire social circles could be infiltrated by AI chatbots, pretending to be real friends, forging relationships, opinions, even entire political movements from thin air. The boundaries between fake and fiction dissolve, leaving us longing for a simpler era where truth felt more tangible. At the center of this phenomenon lies a deeper existential fear. that maybe none of this is new. Maybe reality was always more fragile, more shaped by our perceptions than we cared to admit. Humans have always had biases, illusions, and limited viewpoints. But AI has turned that old whisper of, "Are we sure we understand reality?" into a deafening roar. Yet, ironically, the same technology that warps truth also holds enormous promise. If used ethically, advanced AI can help detect deepfakes or unmask fraudulent videos, potentially becoming our greatest tool against its own illusions. It might safeguard real historical footage or preserve records with cryptographic protections. But the question remains, will we let it do that, or will the arms race escalate, fueling a cycle of ever more convincing fakes, matched by ever more refined detection? Some philosophers point out that our own memories are not perfect recordings, but reconstructions that get edited every time we recall them. So maybe we've always lived in a partially simulated mental world, shaped by illusions that AI now simply amplifies. If we accept the frailty of memory, does that acceptance free us to navigate this new reality with caution and humility? Or does it plunge us into nihilism? If everything might be fake, why care about anything at all? That question forms the crux. Does an AI-driven, malleable reality push us to despair, or galvanize us to redefine authenticity? Do we adapt, forging new norms of trust, new systems of verification, new communal agreements? Or do we retreat into paranoia, suspecting every photo, every voice clip as a fabrication? And if we adapt, is that adaptation always lagging behind the illusions? The arms race continues, indefinite. Yet, there's also a sliver of hope in the notion that collectively, humans might unite around preserving objective truths, forging alliances that transcend politics, beyond petty squabbles. Because in a world of illusions, truth becomes precious, something to safeguard relentlessly. This potential for unity might be the silver lining of our predicament. Perhaps we end up more vigilant, more empathetic to each other's confusion, less gullible to manipulative extremes. Because we collectively decide reality is worth protecting. So here we stand. The technology to warp reality is no longer locked away in secret labs. It's creeping into mainstream apps, social media, and everyday life. Our day-to-day existence becomes entwined with illusions so perfect, we can't see their seams. The illusions might start small, but they can quickly metastasize into wide-scale confusion, rewriting who we think we are, how we recall events, and how we choose the future. So I leave you with this. In the end, the moment you suspect reality is breakable is the moment you realize how fragile it always was. Let that sink in and ask yourself, are you truly sure of what is real? Or has the very act of questioning it changed everything already?